Alright, so today on Disco Elysium, Kim has abandoned us, so what do we even do at this point? We can, like, talk to people about stuff and that kind of thing. I don't know, I'd like to know what, any of these, how do you get any of these tasks, but I don't know, like, how to get the map. I guess I don't even know what to do today. It's the thing, like, a lot of the plot I was doing was like with the dead body, but now that it's now that Kim's gone.
So, aren't you like a harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
Alright, well, there's something going on here. I guess talk to people is the main thing you do in this
It's
game.
but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right. You talk to the boss eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk.
Okay, well, that didn't actually get us anywhere. Like, what do we... I'm sorry to check again, but like, that, do that, we gotta wait till tomorrow. I guess we can ask people about that. I don't know what to do about that. Like, that's, we gotta wait till tomorrow. Down the coast, is that, I think that's when the, like, water gate opens up. Water gate, you know what I mean. And, like, I mean, I guess there's, like, yesterday's tasks too, but is there anyone we can, like, realistically talk to? Anything to do in the Whirling and Rags? Because, like, you're just drunk. That's your, yeah. How about you?
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Alright, let's just learn about cryptids today.
Of course, dear. Is there a particular cryptid that you're interested in learning about?
Alright, now you can carry today's episode, Lena.
Cryobacter catlensis. Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kotla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago. The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly from before recorded history. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life.
How did she just disappear?
Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It is not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea.
I guess. I don't want to be too depressing for her, so we'll just go with the
yes.
safe.
Impossible? No. Although, everything has a price, sweetie. After Mijanou treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away.
I mean, I'm already like that in-game and in real life, so that wouldn't be too bad for me.
Somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis coursing through her bloodstream.
What about the pen?
It's the kind green ape, half war story, half undiscovered species in the genus Homo.
He's just like me.
Yes, it was reported by soldiers in South Safra during the war. The kind green ape would visit bunkers during the night, healing wounded soldiers with its saliva.
Imagine you get shot in the war and a big green monkey just like spits on you.
Yes, it has amazing healing qualities. Some soldiers reported growing back limbs, regaining their sight.
It like spits in their eyes?
Indeed, there is.
I don't know about
It's
that.
our closest relative among the cryptids. Same taxonomic family, different genus.
Gayness.
Which is to say, the congrene ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor, and that evolved parallel to our own, just like your partners.
I don't...
I didn't mean to imply that Saolites are in any way inferior to us. In some ways, they are superior. Every species has its advantages and disadvantages.
I gotta stand up for my
The
man.
congrene ape, too, is in some ways superior to us. Such kindness as it is demonstrated is not common among humans. Granted, kindness may not be an evolutionary advantage. What an interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are. The call to Mama Dakwa, or thin whisper of sound. And that's precisely what it seems to be. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. It's very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track.
Okay, that, I don't think that's how physics
Corre
works.
Mama Dakwa can also be translated as a whisper light and low.
Yes, that's another translation. They're both quite lovely, aren't they?
I gotta show off to her that I speak
Although
whatever
the low part is a little
it is.
ironic. The call to Mama Dakwa makes, or rather is, such a high-pitched sound that other animals, including humans, can't hear it. It could be everywhere all of the time, and we wouldn't know. Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory. It could
Let's
be.
just keep powering through
As
these.
I
I
said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights. Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagi ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls.
Or maybe it's just a really high-pitched bird.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mama Dakwa, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent.
Okay.
They grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them. Sequester, Time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mama Dakwa they followed individually. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction.
Yeah, university students can be like that sometimes.
They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mama Dakwas. And that happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear.
You tell me they blasted the birds with resonant frequencies and like blew them up?
Psst.
They cancel each other out.
Psst, exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population.
Great regret washes over her. A wending cloth.
What's a wending cloth?
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Koltamamadakwa population anywhere.
Also, for the sound wave to cancel out, it would have to match the phase perfectly. That wouldn't affect all of them at the same time.
What about what? I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. He's the real expert.
Alright, well, I mean, it's not quite a full episode, but that was certainly entertaining. How about back here? Is there anything I can do here?
You see a heavy steel door.
Nope. How about you, buckaroo?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence. The mention of mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again. They're friends.
Okay, well, that was something. How about you? You're supposed to be like quote-unquote evil now, right? I guess you're sheltering the
Why are you wasting your time?
you're sheltering the murderers. Which is it's something. Oh,
Was that? Could it be the Koldamama Dakwa? No, it's probably just your
what is this?
imagination ringing in your ear.
And I'll play along.
There
Yeah.
seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring. Ultrasonic. Lena said it was very high-pitched, right? It's like something tickles your ear.
Yeah, but if it's bat frequency or higher than bats, it's gonna be outside human hearing. That's what she said. You can't be hearing it.
Honestly, your ear isn't hearing a whole lot. The distant hum of the industrial harbor, the traffic. But, admittedly, there is a high-pitched noise somewhere there too. But then, isn't there always?
It's just tinnitus, but I want to see what happens.
There it is again. You're about to rediscover a long-lost species. It must be very close. Maybe, just maybe, it will come toward you. Keep still. It might perch on your shoulder.
I'm gonna keep
Oh
still.
no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. Go after it.
Am I really gonna
No.
do this?
Too late. It's gone. There is no ringing anymore. Just the sound of the streets. Keep your ears peeled then. If the species really has migrated to
okay.
Martinez, you're sure to hear it again.
Well, that's I gained a thought, a potential thought at least. I gotta check this out. 7 hours. We can try it out. But I mean, I only have, what, 2 skill points, right? Yeah. Maybe I'll hold off for right now. How about you, child? You
Hi,
got anything?
detective. Are you here for more books?
Okay, bye. Just immediately.
The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
Okay, one other thing. Oh, 2 other things I want to do. I'm gonna pad out this episode one way or another. First off, I want to try reading. Second off, I want to investigate that upper floor again. So, I mean, like this door. Is that my neighbor?
Door is closed. This
Could be
door
locked.
can only be opened with a key or from the inside.
Well, I mean, it didn't get us anywhere, but now we know, right? I'm gonna go read out on the deck, just because it's, like, scenic or whatever, you know? Give myself, like... How do I read again? You get anything from the photo of tattoos?
Stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky, but something's not right. Gone. For you to discover, you've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone who knows about history could tell you.
Okay. Oh, is it... Hang on, maybe I won't read here. I want to check real quick. Maybe I'll drop the episode. What are those two guys playing boule, or whatever it's called? Because they're always talking about the past, right? Because my first thought was Joyce, but I did ask her already, and she doesn't know. But that could be a thing. Where are those guys? Right here. You're the angry one. Let's talk to you.
We're still waiting for a replacement for the bull you sent sinking.
Okay. What about you, buddy? I have to stand directly in front of
The
you.
mere sight of police in Martinez makes me feel safer already. How can I help you?
Well, never mind then. Oh. Hang on, I had a thought for a second. Oh. Okay, that was my thought. How about you? You're just a drunk with no... Okay, well maybe, I thought you were drunk, maybe you're not, but you don't have anything to say, right? Well, I'm gonna do some reading, and I don't know why, but I'm dead set on doing it up on the balcony, why aren't you climbing up the stairs, dude? Right, there we go. A nice, dramatic, wistful view. I cannot talk to a lady up there, still.
The face of King Freecell smiles at you. For some reason, the smile now strikes you as more forced than it did before. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turned to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Okay, I don't have that much I can comment on this, but I want to get through this.
Unfolds before you.
And then we'll end it here.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS.
Is that Cindy the Skull?
The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
It's like that sometimes.
The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
Okay.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers.
Is it going to be critique on all
Instead,
the...
you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
You bet that's how
Where
it
to even
goes.
start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes.
I mean, that is like how sports typically
So,
go,
all of
right?
it, basically. Oddly enough, this article has two bylines: Nesta Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buca. There's no way those are real names.
It's like
Have you
Raphael.
ever met anyone
whatever.
named Exilus? Come on, they're plainly pseudonyms.
I got a buddy named Exilus.
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a frita. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Not necessarily.
Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of brand names being engulfed in flames that you crave.
I mean, brand names and flames both rhymes and in isolation sounds pretty
That's
good.
because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry. The whole point of these sorts of articles is to let someone else read critically for you. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
We got one more passage.
Surprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike.
That's why, what's his name had it,
Skim the headlines.
I'm guessing.
Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer G. Martin accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
I mean,
The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution so long as it's only redistributed upward. It's true, the rentiers have been bleeding you dry. You really ought to find your own place one of these days.
yeah, I'm still thinking about how I'm gonna pay
You
Gart
flip
there.
back
Like,
to the front of the
I'm good
magazine.
for a couple
The table
days,
of contents unfolds before you.
but you know, I only got so long. Well, that's what reading is like, you know. That's good to experience that every once in a while, you know. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow, cause like at this point, without Kim, without like the new areas and plot threads that the harbor's gonna unlock, that one passageway, you know, I don't really know what to do at this point. But I mean, that's we gotta find something, right?